Oh, so my sister's been handing me leads, and so I'm so new. I just, I'm reaching for everything. And the only person that actually called me back was someone that had a housing voucher. I have no idea where to even begin with that, or if I should touch it or just leave it alone. Or maybe there's someone here that specializes in that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the Section 8 housing vouchers?
Good question. Does anybody have any info on housing vouchers, like for rentals, right, Kelly?
Yes, she was looking for a rental house.
I've never worked with a voucher, but I have heard about it, but I don't know. Has anyone else?
I have. I can help you, Kelly, if you need help.
That would be great. I'm going to actually be in the office tomorrow for training. So I'll talk to you then, Ashley. Thank you.
Of course.
Kelly, I can shoot you a couple of properties too. A friend of mine just listed, I don't know if they meet your criteria or your area, but she just listed a couple rentals that are accepting Section 8 that might be an easy in. So I can send you those as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for posing the question. What else? What else y'all got for buyers?
Well, I guess I'm sorry, good morning. I guess to kind of tag along with what Kelly was saying, I actually have a Section 8 buyer. Now, housing has cut the amount of money on both sides as far as what they'll allow the property to be valued at for them to cover their mortgage amount. So we have been having issues finding properties that are all in as far as the mortgage amount, insurance, taxes, any HOA stuff under, depending on the tier, between either $1,300 to $1,600 a month. And that's I'm sorry, and that's after finding properties that if there's any repairs needed, the seller is willing to do the repairs, because housing won't accept the home as is. Everything has to be done and in working order.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Does anybody have anything that they can share with Ashley in that regards? I mean, I've never walked through something like that. Aislinn, does that correlate at all to like how the short sales are ran, if in that regard, on the back side of things, I guess?
I don't think so, because a lot of times, one, if a short sale has a repairs that needs to be done, I would have to check. I don't know how that would work, but even then, so some of the fees have to be included too, that this buyer's not able to take on all this stuff because it has to be under a certain price point, and then all in, her mortgage has to be under a certain amount for housing to approve it.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you do in that aspect? Do you just keep searching for your buyer, or what does that conversation look like that you're having with them?
So right now, every home that we think might work requires me definitely communicating with the agent to find out if they'll even consider doing any repairs that needs to be done, or if there is any big items that need to be done, and then coordinating with the lender for them to run all the numbers, and then running that number by her caseworker for them to do whatever final check they have to do to make sure it works, but it hasn't. She even got qualified for the single family new construction, and the mortgage was over by $100 and they wouldn't approve it. Brand new home.
Oh, wow. And could they partner with any of like the city programs that Natalie's been working through?
Yes.
Okay.
She has, so she did the single family, or she has like 100,000 in down payment assistance, but it's still that bottom number that keeps getting us caught up.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, it seems like you're almost having to be conditionally approved on a property before even putting an offer in almost.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody have any insight on anything that can help Ashley in that aspect? It seems like such a chore. Well, and to be able to have somebody that's walking through that business. Oh, I think we lost her.
I'm right here.
Oh.
Were you asking me something?
Oh, I was just asking if anybody had any insight that they could share to help you, kind of walk through that process or.
So I've done quite a few of them. Again, the problem has been they cut how much money they'll allow, because even on the rental side, it's gone up now, but last year they wanted $1,700 for a 4-bedroom, but before it was like $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even think about it rolling over to the for sale side, because the last lady I helped, that was beginning of the year, end of the year, she got into a home, tiers B through D tend to be like lower price communities, but she got into a home just fine. So these two ladies are friends. So this one keeps telling the one I have now that she shouldn't have issues, but I have to call her and tell her, you were in a different,
Yeah.
they were giving out more money at the time. Stop telling her.
Yeah, she's not going to have any issue.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on and what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference.
Absolutely.
It's a very big difference. So just pray for me, because
Yeah, that's interesting. You'll have to keep us posted on that. I'd be interested to see what you guys find and kind of come up with.
yeah.
And it can be done, obviously, because you've done it before, but just with different.
The money
buyers
is
in
the
their
money. The money is a lot different. They are. I don't remember what the last lady's. I think her mortgage was only like $800, but the house was $240,000.
Okay.
So now this lady, if she does tier A, which is like Katy, some parts of Spring, Cypress, wherever, the house can't be any more than $200,000, and they still would have to give her $10,000 in concessions and agree to all the repairs. That's hard.
That's a lot, yeah.
And then if she goes tier B, C, and D, she can't go above 170.
Okay.
Then still 10 in concessions and all repairs. I'm like, that's a fix and flip. That's not.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna agree to that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess any off-market properties maybe would be.
Keep it searching, because
Yeah.
then you will still have to get someone that's gonna give her that money
Yeah.
in concessions. It's either that, or we found her another brand new home in 3rd Ward. I think that was Friday. They were willing to, she would have been all in at about 165. Oh, she didn't like the neighborhood.
There's always got to be something.
Brand new house, but
Absolutely. So what does that conversation look like between like her friend telling her, oh, you shouldn't be having these problems, and then you're like bringing her down to earth, like, no, your situation's different. You find her a home, but she doesn't like the neighborhood. Like, what's your next conversation with her? Do you tell her like, hey, here's your options, you take it or you leave it? What's that look like for you?
So we talked yesterday. She tends to like just send me houses. I don't know who's sending her the houses. So what I've had to do is each home she sends me, I make her tell me which tier the home is in, because that makes a difference. So if you're sending me a $200,000 home, but you know, because of the zip code, it should be priced at 170. You know, depending on, first of all, how long it's been on the market, I'm not going to waste my time. So that's where we start, you know, and then once there is something that makes sense, I'll run it by the lender, and then it still requires me having a conversation to make sure there's nothing big. But like I told her yesterday, I said, you know, we're kind of getting to a point to where we have to make a decision as far as what's going to happen, because we're looking at all these homes, but nothing is working in housing. It's really housing, because they're not going to budge on what their bottom number is. And I think it's really sad because, you know, they've been in the news lately from them running up all of these funds that should have been allocated for these families on all these private trips and jets and all these other kind of stuff. And the decision of someone finding their forever home is $100.
Yeah.
$100. Matter of fact, the one the lender did yesterday that was in the higher price tier, it was over by $40.
So there's absolutely no wiggle room. Like it's a black and white hard line.
They won't even do like a circumstantial review because the lender tried. They won't even, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, you'll have to keep us posted. I'm interested to see how that one plays out and kind of how you work through that one for sure. Well, I learned something new today, so thank you for that. That's kind of crazy. Is there a certain name for that program that they're running it through? Do you know?
Let's see. It's Houston Housing Alliance. They're a home ownership program. Let me see.
Okay.
So they have the same, it's a packet, the voucher that they get for either rental or sale. So I don't know on the sales side who's responsible for filling out the packet, because for leases, it's the landlord that has to fill it out with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who's responsible for filling out the packet, but it tells you inside like how much each zip code they can go up to, and then it just has a bunch of information that's required from the landlord, the owner, and stuff about the house.
Okay.
So all that has to be filled out.
Interesting. Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it. What else you guys got? We got a couple more minutes. Anybody have anything with buyers? Or anything? I can tell you guys, she's not really in the market currently. She's a friend of mine, more so just playing with the idea of purchasing. She's in a lease right now. But she came across a TikTok that was showcasing a Houston neighborhood. I want to say it was White Oaks. I'd have to go back and look at it. But it's almost like an abandoned neighborhood where apparently they were going to build the railway, like some electric railway or whatever in Houston. And so this company had come in to this neighborhood, bought out all of these properties, and was going to tear them down. Well, they ended up like losing their funding or holding off or something, whatever they're doing out there. And it became really run down with either short-term rentals, the houses were getting trashed, or squatters, stuff like that. And so she went down this rabbit hole and found this neighborhood, and she was like, I think houses would be really cheap. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It was so wild. just the kind of the story she painted in her head, how she could, kind of go in and buy this whole neighborhood, not the whole neighborhood, but have you guys ever heard of anything like that? Because I was so intrigued. I had to go and went down the whole rabbit hole, and it is a legit place. I've yet to drive through there and see if it's really vacant to see what it looks like. But anybody else heard any crazy nonsense like that? I think it was White Oaks in Houston.
No.
Google, can y'all hear us? You're quiet today.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I don't have much to say about buyers too much. I locked down a buyer. I got her out of the pond a few months ago, like maybe when I first started here back in March. And she was telling me she was looking at some places at Crystal Beach. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So she was wanting to find a place in Crystal Beach area. She'd been watching some houses, but she wasn't, ready to move or anything like that, make any moves. So I put a task on her to reach out to her later. I reached out to her later, and this is why you want to reach out to them on a more frequent basis for people that are looking, but they say that they're not quite ready yet. Because I reached out to her about a month ago now. And she thought I was a totally different real estate agent that she decided to work with. But when she found out it was me and who I was, and we had that conversation before, she realized it wasn't that lady, and that the lady she had reached out to, she had been ghosting her. And I just happened to call at the right time. We talked about where she was at. We talked about some other houses that I looked up for and I was at an open house doing this. So I looked up some open houses too as well. And I was kind of like Avi on this. She's just like, this house is $350, but I'm not going to pay that much. And I was just like, well, what do you want to pay? She's like, I would want to put an offer in for 175. And I was like, let's do it. Let's just write the offer. Who knows what's going to happen? Let's just write it. And we just ended up talking a little bit more, and I ended up sending her out my buyer's agreement that day, and she signed it the next day. I was worried because I didn't get it back the same day. I was like, oh, and she's from Kansas, so she's not local either. So I was worried she wasn't gonna like get it back to me because she was kind of like in talks with somebody else for a while, and here we are now. I have an executed contract with her. I'm actually at the house right now in Crystal Beach while the inspection is going on because I'm going to go ahead and do a video tour for her as well. But she's already, she has very much looked into all of the properties that she was super interested in. So it's not like it's new to her. She hasn't seen it. But yeah, now it's finally like coming to a head. We're halfway there. We close on the 28th, and yeah, it looks like a good deal. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta obvi it out, and then on top of that, like, even though they say like they're not interested right now, but they say they're interested, stay in frequent contact with them, because if not, you may lose out to somebody else.
Yes, Robin, I love that. What did that follow-up look like for you? Like, what did you have scheduled? What were you saying? How were you saying in front of her?
So, I told her, because I knew she was keeping an eye on the market and stuff like that. What I did was I set tasks to the property that she was interested in, the main one. I set tasks to check the MLS every so often to see if the price budged, because if it did, then I would call her and I would reach out to her. And so I had it for every month, and then it just so happened like in the third month or something, it went down by like $10,000, and that's why I reached out to her to let her know. And it had gone down between the last time I had looked and the time I actually ended up calling her to tell her that it went down. But honestly, the conversation I usually have with them, we're like, okay, I completely understand that. Well, this is what I'm going to go ahead and do. I can see about um, looking at homes that are within your requirements, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, whatever it is that they need, and sending you like maybe one listing a month. And I'll go ahead and reach back out to you and see what you feel about that so we can adjust our search. So then when the time comes, you'll know better what you're looking for at what price range. I do also see if I can get an approximation of what the yearly income is so I can kind of gauge what the price point would be for that home as well. If I do get that information, I give them the price point, but I tell them this is not an exact, it's just an estimation. There's a lot of other factors that could, you know, play a part in adjusting if you're able to afford more or if you're able to afford less. But this gives us a starting point at least so you can see things. And they're usually open to that. Like I would say 8 out of 10 people are usually open to that with me, like sending them a property a month and reaching back out to them again. And there's been times that they don't want to have anything sent to them. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and reach out in the future, see about maybe in a month or two and see where you're at, see how you're doing, see if there's anything I can do for you. If you'd like to go ahead and have that buyer's education appointment with me, we can set that up so I can let you know what it looks like to buy a home from A to Z. What you can expect and all the fees and things like that. And they usually are okay with that too. Hardly ever do I hear, no, don't worry about it. Don't call back or whatever. I mean, it's not 0%, but like not often do people tell me not to call them back altogether.
I have a quick question.
Go for it.
Before my question, I just want to say, like, it's so awesome because I know Robin's been like absolutely working her ass off, and it's just so nice to like see all of that hard work pay off. But my question is, I know you said you like they were asking 350 and you offered 175. Is it the same property that you're under contract with? And what are the numbers that you ended up getting for her?
Okay, yeah, no, so that was a totally different property. This property was for 237.7 or 237.9. And she's a go-getter, let me tell you. But I was able to agree with her because I felt like we could get her down a lot and she needed that. So she was just like offer him 175 as well. So then I talked to the agent and she was just like, yeah, that's really low. She's like, well, let me talk to my client and see what they say. They came back at 210. I talked to her. I was like, hey, they went back at 210. What do you want to do? And she's like, let's do 200. I was just like, yeah, I think we could get it there. And then the other person talks to their client again. They're like, how about we meet in the middle at 205? And I told my client, I was like, okay. She wanted the furniture. So I was just like, let's do this. I was just like, let's do 205. The whole house stays furnished besides their personal effects. You keep all of the appliance so that way you don't have to worry about a stove, washer, dryer, fridge, anything like that. And then I was just like, and also let's see if we can get at least like $5,000 in concessions. That way it kind of it brings it down to the 200 sort of, you know? And she was just like, okay, let's do that. And so went back to the listing agent, gave her all of that. And they came back with pretty much the okay on everything except for the concessions. They were like, well, how about 2,000 concession? And I went back to my client. I was just like, I think this is a really good deal right here. And she was like, yeah, let's go for it. So it was just a little back and forth negotiating, but yeah, we got them to come down quite a bit.
That's
So
awesome.
in reality, kind of with everything she got, it's like 203 in price. And then the thousands of dollars that she saved on having to furnish another home because this is going to be her second home. She lives in Kansas right now and she's going to be kind of going back and forth between the two. And it also has a it actually, this is crazy because I didn't know this at first, but it's actually 2 lots. So the second one is like just like a little RV lot with its own sewer, but the 2 properties go together. So she got 2 land properties for the 205.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Good stuff, Robin. Keep pushing, girlfriend. You are the true definition of, getting in and just doing it and making it work. So keep doing what you're doing. And I love that the pond was fruitful. Like, there is so much gold in the pond. If you're willing to take the time and put in the effort to play around in that pond and follow up, there's gold in there. Absolutely. All right, we got gratitude and bucket fillers. What y'all got? Who is grateful today? Oh, we're not-
Anybody?
Grateful for Chelsea. She's awesome.
That's so funny because I was just trying to unmute to say the same thing. Chelsea, I want to give you a bucket filler because you've been so amazing. You're amazing in general. She's always so sweet, polite. If she does curse, she apologizes about it. But like, she never makes you feel like you're an inconvenience to her if you need help. And if she's busy at the time, she's like, one moment I'm busy with this, or I'll be busy with this for so long. And then she actually gets back to you and will help you. She helped me out a lot because I was having problems in OLS for this transaction, trying to get everybody loaded up in there. And she ended up doing, what's that thing called that we did, Chelsea? A video chat on the, I don't know, what do you call it, but it's a video chat where I showed her my computer and she could see it from her side. And she was I know I can't use the name, I was like screen sharing or something, I think it's called. But anyway, yeah, because I didn't go to work that day. I had made plans to do something with my kids. So I was actually having to work from where I was at and take a good little like 30 minutes to do whatever I needed to do. And she walked me through it, even though it ended up messing up. And I think she did everything for me in the end. I just really appreciate that because, man, I am technologically impaired, as you can see from my verbiage. So she's just freaking amazing and so helpful. And this isn't the first time. She has helped me so much since I've been back. I just love her, appreciate her, and I'm sad that you're not going to be our transaction manager anymore because I need you.
Oh, you guys are killing it
I'm with
today.
you. I'm with you on that one, Robin.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You pushing it through, huh, Chels?
We do what we can. We make it work. Sometimes we gotta pivot, and that's what we do.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank
Now
you,
guys have
Robin.
me in tears today. Let's move on. Who else has a gratitude or bucket filler? Let's get 1 or 2 more.
I'm grateful. I am grateful for the for this past week that I went to Isla Mujeres with my family. It's been with my husband. It's been a minute, and we were able to do things and see things, and just being motivated to the next vacation that I'm going to have. So working extremely hard. I'm also extremely grateful and with a big heart of gratitude to the Global AEA Community Cares, Chelsea, Robin, Delana, all of you ladies, Christine, Renata, for being there and coming through. Feeding those 488 children makes, man, that is amazing that, we did this. And I just look forward to doing more. And and with, you know, in collaborating with all these, you know, with people here at the brokerage, collaborating with other people outside of the brokerage, and just making it bigger. I'm so grateful to God that He's able to do this for all of us, and that we all made it happen. Everyone here made it happen. Thanks.
Amen.
Amen,
Brandon,
yes.
thank you so much for heading it up and putting it together and holding us accountable and building that relationship.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, everybody, just to remind you, we still do need volunteers for our lunches for the morning and the afternoons, and any sponsors, because we do have back to school and the backpacks coming up. So grateful that we're doing this community outreach.
And we still got all of July to feed. So we're looking to do it the same, if not more.
What's the date?
Monday and Wednesday from 11 to 1 in Pasadena.
Pastor, get down, Dina. Oh,
Is there a place to drop supplies off in the office?
Yeah, you can throw them in right now. You can throw them in right where I'm at, in that office, that front office. Right? Yeah. All right, what are we doing, lead gen?
Jazz.
Lead, is that your inner Aussie?
This is the chair.
Lead generation. What do y'all got? What's working in your business? What's generating these leads? What can you share with somebody? Or what questions do you have on how to grow your business?
I have one. I've had like a little bit of an aha moment yesterday in our boot camp meeting, accountability, whatever it is. But Ozzy had mentioned like orphaned clients. And so it's like obviously going back to your past clients and reaching out, but also the person on the other side of the transaction. So if you represented the seller, touching base with them, but you have the contract with the buyer's information and their agent probably ghosted them. So reach out to them too, add them to your database. You already have like a touch point with them that is less awkward. Like, hey, I was the agent that listed the house that you bought. You know what I mean? So it just makes it less awkward. And I was like, oh, I think I'm going to do that. So I thought that was a good idea.
Oh, that is a good idea. I mean, the worst they can tell you is no, right? Like, if not, you're having a conversation, you're making the relationship, you're staying front of mind. Good stuff. Are you implementing that today, Brooke?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I ideally need to like prepare for it because there's like a lot of, basically have to go and look through all my old contracts and I'm just like, oh, I don't know where I'm gonna have to do a lot of research. So it's in the plan. I don't know if it's gonna happen today though.
Okay, I got you. Good stuff. Well, let us know how that pans out and what fruit comes of that labor.
I will. Hopefully lots of fruit.
Yep. What else you guys got? Lead generation. Boot campers or anybody, are you guys calling out of the pond? Are you reaching out to your SOI? What does that look like for you guys? Because I know that if you're hitting your numbers, you're making the calls and having the conversations. Where are you guys doing that at, if you don't mind me asking?
So
I unfortunately do not have access to the pond or anything like that, and I'm not on the board and I don't have FUB, so my leads are just are being handed down to my sister who doesn't have time for some of the smaller rentals. So I've been calling, emailing, texting, calling, email, and texting like over and over again. And some Facebooks. I've got people tagging me in Facebook, and I'll reach out to them via that. But that's about it.
Okay. How are you keeping your leads organized, Kelly? If you're not in follow-up, are you using another CRM? Are you using a spreadsheet? what does that look like to keep those leads all in one place so you can follow up with them and create your downline?
So, so right now it's, I do have their phone number and email because they're coming through on homes.com and rent.com. So I just moved them over to a leads folder in my email.
Okay. And that seems to be working out for you for the time being.
For the time being, if anybody has any ideas, I'm open to that.
Does Marie use a CRM? Does she use Follow Up Boss or anything anymore?
She's on there. Whether she goes in there or not, I have no idea.
Well, and you can put those leads in OLS also. That way you have them in there prior to, you can go in and create an account for all of those people and then add your notes to follow up with them, or, you know, you can still put tags on them based on whatever folders you wanted in there. And that way everything is in one system for you. So you can play around in there and see if that works for you also.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'm starting to dig into OLS. I've got a couple transactions in there, and yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Personally, me, of course, I reach out to anybody in the ponds. It just depends on what I feel like working with. If I want a hard lead, or if I'm trying to work with some renters. Sometimes I split my time. Sometimes I do like an hour and a half of just calling the lead ponds for like whatever's in there. Most of the time it's buyers, but you come across sellers too in there. But then like maybe I'll have my last 30 minutes of lead gen to do rentals, just because I know like rentals can be kind of quick, fast money. Sometimes you have to work with them for a little while, a month or two. But there's not too much work that goes into a lease versus when you're working with a buyer or a seller. And then something I learned how to do as well was batch emails. And that's just like emailing a lot of people at once. Come to find out, like I have a good pretty percentage of people like opening up the actual emails. I think it was 30 something percent. And well, based on what Ivy says, that's not too bad. So I try that too. And you know, if anybody, I have been able to help two people that maybe they'll buy in the future, maybe not. They already have their own houses, but they can't afford to move because of their credit or their finances at the time. But I've been able to like help them by get them with my lender that helps with credit support and helping you get your credit score back up, or a credit specialist in general. So it's not too bad, you know, doing those batch emails. It doesn't take a lot of time out of your day to do something like that. So if you don't know how to do it, definitely come see me and I'll show you.
Good stuff. Thank you, Robin.
Oh.
And I would say everybody to just like Ozzy says, come from curiosity as much as possible. Try to ask them the questions to get, not just to get you the 2-minute conversation, but the more questions you ask them, it will lead to how you can help them. And the longer you have them on the phone for, the more of a rapport and a relationship you're building with them, that they're going to remember you. Even if you don't do anything today with them, but down the line when you reach out to them again.
I've really been focusing on like my SOI for my real estate side. And I feel like I'm kind of reintroducing myself in a weird way. I don't think I've done a very good job about reminding people like, hey, I am still a licensed realtor. And so now I feel like I'm re-engaging in those conversations and reminding people like, hey, I am here to help, to ask questions, to have that conversation. But it does feel a little foreign just because it's something that I think I lacked and didn't continuously paint that picture. So it does feel like it's kind of like you're new or you're starting all over again, right? And reminding everybody of what that looks like. Laura, I see you on, and I've been kind of watching all your Facebook stuff, seeing what you got going on. You have a business, you have multiple listings, right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. What does that look like as far as building your business? Like, what can you share with us in regards to lead gen and how to build such a listing base?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I do go after expires. Expires is my main thing. I change my scripts depending on the season. So I go, in there, I go, everything is expires and everything else is what I post and share on social media. I am a very ridiculous person in real life. And I, share the dumbest things that you can think of, but it's true. I don't, I post about, my goats or my plants or my dogs or, the shenanigans that I get into myself sometimes. And sometimes I notice that I get a lot of engagement. Sometimes I don't. And that really doesn't matter because people are still watching. But I do a lot that I find that, I'm being more relatable and down to earth, and to be the true person that you really are makes the whole difference, when it comes to, your clients. Cause I don't have two different personalities. I'm a professional at what I do, but I am not one of those that is very scripted when it comes on social media and I'm always in a suit or anything like that. It's not like that. And I create a lot of movement, from what I do. And it brings me more stuff and it brings me more agents that are curious of what I'm doing. It brings me more clients that see that I'm doing. If you go and follow me, you will see that I will rotate a lot of, sometimes I'm even at home and I'm not even out and I'm recycle a lot of my selfies. And I say that I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And that's not true. I'm behind the computer working. And I'm a big liar on social media about me being out there, and that's not true. So don't I just don't lie about the things. If I have something under contract, I don't lie about that, but I do lie about what I'm doing out there to make it look like I'm always out there, but I'm always all of that. So pay attention on my pictures. You would see different hairstyles and colors, and people don't catch that. And so I do that a lot. And I create a lot of, I can swing you a coming soon in 4 or 5 different ways. And people think it's 4 or 5 different houses. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And it really doesn't matter because I find it that if I look at like I am, more, then I get more, when it comes to that and everything. And then I see, the usual people believe what you tell them on social media. They absolutely do. So whenever I start, I'm transitioning everything. I'm trying to learn follow-up boss so I can go after expires again, the way that I know how. And once that I start doing, that, I usually have between 3 to 5 listing appointments a week. And out of those 5 appointments, I will get 2 listings, from there. And the other 3 are either scarce or I'm going to eventually get them. usually I have had listings that I go to an appointment and I don't get the listing for another 3 years because they are too scared or they have certain circumstances that don't happen, but I never stop following up. But it's just one of those that as soon as I realized that this is a long-term game, this is a marathon, it is not something that I'm gonna go today and they're gonna let me put the sign right there and then, you know, it's my mind shifted and I realized that as long as they know that I'm here, I'm going to get it. So I have houses that I have gone, to an appointment 4 or 5. I have a lot right now that is 12 acres that we're going on year 2, on that one. And I am going to get it. There's just some, litigation that they're messing with. But that one was one of the first listings that I went on appointment in 2019 and I sold it like in 2023. So it's one of those things that you just never stop. But if you follow me on social media, you would see that I post the most ridiculous things and people find that entertaining. And then I get a lot of calls and stuff like that. I do a lot behind the scenes, but that's just pretty much it. Just being your authentic, person that you are. Don't try to be with anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You are here, you're running your own race. My prayers are different than everybody else's. And as soon as I realized that and I accepted that, my mind shifted and I started to, do everything. I have a lot of different ideas, but I run out of time, some days. But it's just one of those that you just keep going, and you just don't stop. That's it. There's really not a secret you guys know, you just have to, apply yourself and do it. But it works, and then just follow up, and it comes back to you.
I love
I like that too.
Thank you so much for sharing. We all are slacking, I think, on our social media game, and you just dropped some gold on us. So now everybody's going to be balling on their Facebook, or at least they better be.
I'm gonna buy some goats.
I'm telling you, I have like brought it down a little bit a notch because I've been so busy. But I mean, if you go back and look, I am, one of my friends says that I have like a reality TV social media that is very entertaining. So, but it's one of those, and it's really things that happen in my house. You just get creative, to work around it, to just sound it, I find it dumb. Because it is dumb. And it gets engaging, and then people like it, and then before you know it, they're sending you deals. It works.
I love it.
Nice.
I love it. So somebody put that into practice, put it into play, and I want to see what comes of that. Yep. Good stuff, guys. All right, well, it is 8:57. We are gonna hop into affirmation.